My child, every closed door that shattered your expectations protected you from paths that would have wounded your spirit far more deeply than you understand right now. Every delay that frustrated you carried hidden mercy inside it. Every pause that made you question your future was heaven slowing your steps so you would not walk into something your heart was not prepared to survive. You saw rejection, but I saw rescue. You saw silence, but I was arranging timing. You saw loss, but I was preserving your peace. You saw endings, but I was redirecting your life towards something greater than what you were settling for. There were people you begged to keep in your life, but I saw the damage they would eventually cause to your spirit. There were opportunities you cried over losing, but I knew they would have drained you until you no longer recognized yourself. There were moments when you thought your prayers were ignored because the answer did not come the way you wanted it to. But my child, I was listening more closely than you realized. Sometimes my love protects you through unanswered prayers. Sometimes my care appears in the form of delay. Sometimes my mercy hides behind closed doors. You thought you were stuck, but you were being positioned. You thought you were forgotten, but you were being prepared. You thought nothing was happening, but heaven was moving quietly behind every scene of your life. I was aligning people you have not met yet. I was removing things that would have broken you later. I was strengthening parts of your character that needed to grow before the next chapter could safely arrive. I was healing wounds you tried to ignore because what I am bringing into your life cannot survive in the environment of your unhealed pain. My beloved child, there are blessings approaching you that require a stronger heart than the one you carried before. There are opportunities coming that require wisdom born from your waiting. There are answers unfolding that require spiritual maturity your old self did not yet possess. If I had released certain things too early, they would have crushed you instead of blessing you. You would have entered doors emotionally exhausted, spiritually distracted, and too wounded to recognize what was valuable. I know you grew tired of waiting. I know you became discouraged watching other people move ahead while you remained in uncertainty. I know comparison wounded your confidence. I know you questioned your worth when life did not unfold according to your timeline. I know there were nights when you whispered, "Why does it seem so easy for everyone else?" I know there were mornings when discouragement wrapped itself around your thoughts before the day even began. But my child, you were never behind. You were simply on a path that required deeper preparation. You were being built differently because your purpose carries weight your spirit could not yet hold without breaking. You compared your timeline to people whose journeys were never meant to mirror yours. You looked at their blessings while forgetting the hidden battles attached to them. You saw their visible victories but not their private struggles. You saw their progress but not their pain. Your story has never been small to me. Every chapter matters. Every wound matters. Every prayer matters. Every quiet act of endurance matters. Every tear matters. Every moment you kept going when your spirit wanted to give up mattered deeply in heaven. There were moments when you believed your life had lost meaning because nothing seemed to move forward. But I need you to hear me clearly now. Nothing about your waiting was wasted. The waiting strengthened your discernment. The waiting taught you how to survive storms without collapsing. The waiting exposed who truly belonged in your life and who only appeared during convenient seasons. The waiting forced you to lean closer to me instead of depending entirely on your own strength. You prayed for peace, but first I had to reveal the noise exhausting your soul. You prayed for healing, but first I had to uncover wounds you kept hiding beneath distractions. You prayed for clarity, but first I had to remove the confusion created by voices that were not mine. You prayed for love, but first I had to teach you that your worth could not depend on who stayed or who left. My child, there were seasons when I intentionally slowed your life because your spirit needed restoration more than acceleration. You wanted movement while your soul desperately needed rest. You wanted answers while your heart needed healing. You wanted doors to open while I was still teaching you how to stand firmly without collapsing under pressure. You have carried guilt for being tired. You have judged yourself for not being stronger. You have criticized yourself for struggling emotionally. But I never looked at your exhaustion with disappointment. I looked at it with compassion. I saw how hard you were trying. I saw how deeply you cared. I saw the effort hidden beneath your silence. You kept showing up even when your spirit felt weak. You kept trying even after disappointment bruised your confidence. You kept loving even after heartbreak frightened your heart. You kept moving even when anxiety whispered that you should stop believing altogether. That resilience matters more than you know. My beloved child, you often think healing means never hurting again. But healing is not the absence of scars. Healing is learning that your scars no longer control your identity. Healing is discovering that pain did not destroy your ability to love, trust, hope, or dream. Healing is understanding that your story continues beyond the chapter that wounded you. I know you still carry memories that ache unexpectedly. I know certain songs, places, conversations, and moments still trigger emotions you thought had faded. I know there are names that still tighten your chest. I know there are regrets you revisit in silence. I know there are moments you replay wondering if you could have changed the outcome. But my child, stop blaming yourself for every ending. Not every loss was your failure. Not every goodbye was your fault. Some things ended because they were never meant to continue into the future I prepared for you. Some people left because they could not accompany you into the next season of your life. Some doors closed because your destiny existed somewhere else. You have spent too much time carrying responsibility for things beyond your control. You have apologized for your feelings. You have minimized your needs. You have silenced your voice to keep peace around you while chaos quietly grew inside your heart. You have tolerated treatment that wounded your spirit because you feared abandonment more than discomfort. But I am teaching you something new now. You are allowed to protect your peace. You are allowed to walk away from environments that drain your spirit. You are allowed to stop begging for love from people who only value you when you abandon yourself. You are allowed to rest. You are allowed to heal slowly. You are allowed to become someone different from the version of yourself built entirely around survival. My child, hear me carefully. The breakthrough approaching your life is not only external. It is internal. I am not merely changing your circumstances. I am changing you. I am rebuilding your confidence. I am restoring your peace. I am teaching your heart how to feel safe again. I am teaching your mind how to quiet fear. I am teaching your spirit how to trust without constantly expecting disaster. You have lived too long preparing for pain. Too long anticipating disappointment. Too long assuming every good thing would eventually disappear. Too long guarding your heart so tightly that joy struggled to enter. But I did not create you merely to survive each day carrying silent fear. I created you to live fully, love deeply, breathe freely, and walk in peace. I created you to experience moments where your soul feels light again. I created you to laugh without guilt. I created you to rest without fear that everything will collapse if you stop carrying the entire world alone. My beloved child, I know trust feels difficult after everything you have endured. I know disappointment made you cautious. I know heartbreak made you guarded. I know betrayal made you question whether anyone could truly remain gentle with your heart. I know repeated setbacks made hope feel dangerous. But do not let pain convince you that your future must resemble your past. Your story is still unfolding. The chapter you are in right now is not the final sentence over your life. There are still moments of beauty ahead of you. There are still people who will treat your heart with care. There are still prayers waiting to be answered in ways greater than what you imagined. I need you to stop speaking hopelessness over yourself. Stop telling yourself that nothing will ever change. Stop convincing yourself that you are too damaged for happiness. Stop believing the lie that your best days are already behind you. Stop assuming every delay means denial. My child, I am still working. Even in silence, I am still moving. Even in waiting, I am still preparing. Even in uncertainty, I am still guiding you. You cannot always see what I am arranging because much of heaven's work happens beneath the surface before it becomes visible in your life. Seeds grow underground long before flowers appear above the soil. Healing often begins quietly before your emotions fully recognize it. Restoration sometimes starts in hidden places before circumstances catch up. There are conversations happening about you that you know nothing about. There are opportunities quietly aligning. There are connections forming. There are answers approaching. There are dangers you were protected from without ever realizing how close they came. There are blessings already moving toward your life while you sit wondering whether I still remember your name. Oh my child, if only you understood how fiercely heaven has guarded you. If only you could see how many times destruction almost touched your life but was stopped before reaching you. If only you knew how many nights angels stood watch while anxiety tried to consume your thoughts. If only you knew how many times I strengthened your spirit while you slept. You have survived things that should have destroyed your confidence completely. Yet here you are, still breathing, still hoping somewhere deep inside, still searching for light even after darkness exhausted you. That strength did not come from nowhere. I have been sustaining you the entire time. My child, stop measuring your worth by how productive you are during seasons of pain. Stop condemning yourself for moving slowly while healing. Stop comparing your private battles to other people's public appearances. You do not know the full story behind anyone else's life. And they do not fully understand the weight you have carried. Be gentle with yourself during this season. Your heart has survived more than most people know. Your spirit has fought silent wars while still trying to show kindness to others. Your mind has carried burdens that would have crushed weaker foundations. You are not weak because you became tired. You are human. You are not failing because healing takes time. You are recovering. You are not forgotten because answers feel delayed. You are being prepared. My beloved child, let me speak now to the fear that constantly whispers inside your thoughts. The fear that tells you things will never improve. The fear that predicts disaster before joy can fully settle in your heart. The fear that keeps you awake at night replaying worst-case scenarios. The fear that convinces you to expect abandonment before anyone has even left. That fear has exhausted your spirit for too long. It has stolen peace from moments that should have brought comfort. It has caused you to overthink conversations, question your worth, and carry anxiety into places where you deserved calm. I do not condemn you for being afraid. I understand where the fear came from. Pain taught you to stay alert. Betrayal taught you to expect disappointment. Loss taught you to prepare for endings. But my child, fear is no longer meant to lead your life. I am inviting you into a different way of living now. Not a life without challenges, but a life where fear no longer controls every decision. A life where peace becomes stronger than panic. A life where trust slowly replaces constant anxiety. You do not need to have every answer today. You do not need to control every outcome. You do not need to predict every possibility before allowing yourself to breathe. Some of the peace you have been searching for will only arrive when you finally release the impossible responsibility of controlling everything yourself. My child, you have spent years trying to hold your world together through sheer emotional effort. You believed that if you worried enough, prepared enough, analyzed enough, or stayed strong enough, you could protect yourself from pain. But carrying that level of pressure has exhausted your soul. You were never meant to carry the future entirely on your own shoulders. Come closer now. Let your spirit rest for a moment inside my presence. Let your thoughts slow down. Let your breathing steady. Let your heart unclench from survival mode. I know it feels unfamiliar to relax. I know peace almost feels unsafe because you have lived in tension for so long. But you do not need to stay trapped in constant emotional defense. You are safe with me. Even now, while uncertainty still exists around you, you are safe with me. Even while unanswered questions remain, you are safe with me. Even while healing continues slowly, You are safe with me. You keep waiting for the moment when life finally becomes perfect before allowing yourself to rest emotionally. But peace does not begin when every problem disappears. Peace begins when your spirit trusts that you are still held even in imperfect seasons. My child, there is something beautiful beginning inside you right now. Even if you cannot fully feel it yet. Even if your emotions still fluctuate. Even if doubt still visits your mind. Your heart is waking up again. The numbness that protected you for so long is starting to loosen its grip. The walls built around your emotions are beginning to soften. The exhaustion that buried your hope is slowly giving way to restoration. This process may feel uncomfortable because healing often requires feeling things you spent years suppressing. But do not run from this transformation. Do not retreat back into numbness just because vulnerability feels unfamiliar. You prayed for renewal. This is part of it. You prayed for peace. This is part of it. You prayed for breakthrough. This is part of it. Sometimes breakthrough begins quietly inside the soul before circumstances visibly change. I am restoring your ability to feel joy without immediately expecting it to disappear. I am restoring your ability to trust yourself again. I am restoring your confidence after seasons of disappointment weakened it. I am restoring your connection to hope. And my child, hope is sacred. Do not abandon it just because waiting became painful. I know there were seasons when you stopped dreaming because disappointment made dreams feel dangerous. I know there were moments when you convinced yourself not to expect too much because expectation had hurt you before. I know you shrank your desires down to the smallest possible size just to protect your heart from another letdown. But your soul was never designed to live without hope. There are still dreams inside you that deserve breath again. There are still passions inside you waiting to awaken. There are still beautiful moments ahead of you that your weary mind cannot currently imagine. My beloved child, do not confuse temporary exhaustion with permanent defeat. You are not finished. You are not ruined. You are not too late. You are not beyond healing. You are not disqualified because of your scars. Your life still carries purpose. And even now, heaven continues to write restoration into places where you assumed only pain would remain. I know you wonder sometimes whether your prayers truly matter. Whether your small whispered conversations with me actually reach heaven. Whether your exhausted cries still carry meaning after repeating them so many times. Hear me clearly now. Every prayer matters. The prayers spoken through tears matter. The prayers whispered through exhaustion matter. The prayers prayed without eloquent words matter. The prayers spoken while doubting yourself matter. The prayers breathed silently because you lack strength to speak aloud matter. I have heard every single one. There were moments when you thought silence meant abandonment. But silence was never absence. Sometimes I was strengthening your spirit while answers developed beyond your sight. Sometimes I was protecting you from receiving something incomplete. Sometimes I was allowing growth to happen inside you before the next door opened. My child, trust timing you cannot yet fully understand. There are things I withheld because they would have distracted you from your deeper healing. There are relationships I delayed because your heart first needed restoration. There are blessings I protected until your spirit became healthy enough to sustain them. You often begged me for immediate relief while I quietly worked toward lasting transformation. And lasting transformation takes time. You have grown more than you realize. You are not the same person you were a year ago. Pain changed you, yes. But it did not only wound you. It deepened your compassion. It sharpened your discernment. It taught you how fragile hearts can be. It revealed strength you never knew existed inside you. The version of yourself emerging now carries wisdom your past self lacked. You understand loneliness differently now. You understand grief differently now. You understand endurance differently now. And because of that, your heart is becoming gentler, deeper, wiser, and more capable of carrying purpose with maturity. My beloved child, I need you to stop believing that your struggles erased your value. Your worth was never dependent on your achievements. Your worth was never determined by who stayed or who left. Your worth was never reduced by heartbreak. Your worth was never destroyed by mistakes. Your worth was never defined by your lowest moments. You were valuable before success. You were valuable during failure. You were valuable while grieving. You were valuable while anxious. You were valuable while confused. You were valuable while healing. Nothing about your brokenness made you less worthy of love. I wish you could see yourself through heaven's eyes for even one moment. You would stop speaking so harshly to your own heart. You would stop condemning yourself for every weakness. You would stop carrying shame for wounds you are still trying to heal from. My child, shame has kept you trapped long enough. You keep replaying mistakes from your past as though punishment will somehow change what already happened. You revisit old failures, old regrets, old moments of embarrassment, old choices you wish you could undo. But staying chained to shame will not heal you. You cannot grow while constantly strangling yourself with yesterday. Learn from your past, yes. But do not build your identity there. You are allowed to move forward. You are allowed to forgive yourself. You are allowed to heal from chapters that once broke you. You are allowed to become someone new. My beloved child, listen carefully now because your heart desperately needs this truth. You do not need to earn my love through perfection. You do not need to pretend you are always strong. You do not need to hide your emotions from me. You do not need to perform worthiness. I already know your heart completely. I know your fears. I know your insecurities. I know your hidden struggles. I know the thoughts you never say aloud. And still, I remain beside you. Not because you performed flawlessly, but because my love for you has never depended on flawless performance. My child, breathe for a moment. You have carried emotional tension inside your body for too long. Your shoulders have held invisible pressure. Your chest has carried silent anxiety. Your mind has remained alert for danger even during moments meant for rest. You deserve peace. Not temporary distraction. Not numbness disguised as relief. Real peace. The kind that settles deep inside the soul. The kind that steadies your breathing. The kind that reminds your spirit it no longer needs to live in constant fear. And that peace begins when you stop believing you must survive every battle alone. My child, let me carry what has been crushing you. You were never meant to hold every burden without support. You were never meant to pretend strength while silently collapsing. You were never meant to become your own prison through endless self-protection. Release some of the weight now. Release the pressure to have every answer. Release the pressure to fix everyone else. Release the pressure to never struggle. Release the pressure to appear okay while your soul begs for rest. You do not need to prove your worth through exhaustion. You do not need to destroy yourself trying to carry everything perfectly. My beloved child, there is a softness returning to your spirit right now. A softness you thought disappeared forever. You spent so long hardening yourself against pain that tenderness began to feel dangerous. But your heart was never created to remain closed forever. Love still belongs in your life. Joy still belongs in your life. Peace still belongs in your life. Rest still belongs in your life. You have survived enough darkness. Now let healing light reach the places you kept hidden. I know vulnerability scares you because people mishandled your trust before. I know opening your heart feels risky after disappointment. But healing requires honesty. And honesty begins when you finally admit how tired you truly are. You do not always need to be the strong one. You do not always need to hold everyone else together. You do not always need to carry pain silently. There is strength in allowing yourself to be held too. My child, there are moments approaching your life that will remind you why you survived everything that almost broke you. There are conversations ahead that will bring clarity. There are connections ahead that will bring gentleness. There are opportunities ahead that will restore confidence. There are peaceful mornings ahead where your chest will not feel heavy the moment you wake up. There are evenings ahead where your mind will finally rest without spiraling into fear. There are seasons ahead where laughter will return naturally instead of feeling forced. Do not give up before reaching the chapter your heart has been praying for. You have come too far to abandon hope now. My beloved child, sometimes you think healing means returning to who you were before pain entered your life. But healing does not erase your experiences. Healing transforms them. You will not become the exact same person again. You will become wiser, stronger, more discerning, more compassionate, more rooted. Pain changed you, but it does not have to poison your future. You can still become someone beautiful after surviving difficult seasons. Flowers still bloom after storms. Sunlight still returns after long nights. And your spirit can still flourish after heartbreak. My child, forgive yourself for the survival habits you developed during painful seasons. You learned to shut down emotionally because you felt unsafe. You learned to overthink because disappointment caught you off guard before. You learned to expect abandonment because people left unexpectedly. You learned to stay busy because silence forced you to confront pain you were not ready to face. Do not hate yourself for adapting to survival. But understand this too. Survival habits cannot guide your future forever. The walls that once protected your heart can eventually become prisons if never lowered. The numbness that once shielded you from pain can eventually block joy too. The fear that once warned you about danger can eventually prevent love from entering. That is why I am gently teaching your spirit how to trust again. Slowly. Patiently. Tenderly. Not through pressure. Not through force. But through healing. My beloved child, there is no shame in beginning again. There is no shame in rebuilding slowly. There is no shame in needing rest. There is no shame in healing at your own pace. You compare your progress too harshly sometimes. You expect yourself to recover quickly from wounds that cut deeply. But healing is not a race. Some scars need time. Some grief needs gentleness. Some restoration unfolds quietly over many seasons. Be patient with yourself while your heart learns safety again. My child, I know you often feel guilty for resting because somewhere along the way you began believing your worth depended entirely on productivity. You measured yourself by how much you accomplished, how much you gave, how much you endured without complaining. But exhaustion is not holiness. Burning yourself empty is not proof of value. You deserve rest too. You deserve moments where your nervous system can finally exhale. You deserve spaces where your heart does not need armor. You deserve relationships where love feels safe instead of conditional. You deserve peace that does not require you to abandon yourself. My beloved child, stop apologizing for needing care. Stop minimizing your emotional needs. Stop convincing yourself that everyone else deserves gentleness except you. You are worthy of compassion too. You are worthy of understanding too. You are worthy of support too. And most importantly, you are worthy of love that does not constantly wound you. My child, there are patterns I am breaking inside your life right now. Patterns of fear. Patterns of self-abandonment. Patterns of settling for less than your spirit deserves. Patterns of silence. Patterns of emotional isolation. Patterns of believing you must earn affection through suffering. These patterns may resist change because they became familiar over time. But familiar pain is still pain. You do not need to remain trapped inside cycles that continuously drain your soul. I am teaching you discernment now. Not every open door deserves your energy. Not every relationship deserves unlimited access to your spirit. Not every opinion deserves power over your identity. Not every delay means rejection. Not every hardship means abandonment. You are learning to listen more carefully to peace instead of panic. And that wisdom will protect your future. My beloved child, One day you will look back at the season with different eyes. You will see how much strength quietly grew inside you. You will see how many dangers you avoided through delays you once resented. You will see how heartbreak redirected you away from people incapable of caring for your soul properly. You will see how waiting refined your spirit. You will see how healing taught you self-respect. You will see how loneliness deepened your connection with me. You will see how survival slowly transformed into restoration. And one day, the very season you thought was destroying you will reveal itself as the season that rebuilt you from the inside out. My child, until that day fully arrives, keep breathing. Keep resting when you need rest. Keep praying even when answers feel delayed. Keep softening your heart instead of surrendering to bitterness. Keep choosing hope even when fear tries to dominate your thoughts. Keep trusting that your life still carries meaning. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are deeply loved. And even now, while you read these words with tired eyes and an overwhelmed heart, heaven is still moving gently around your life. The breakthrough is closer than you think. The healing is deeper than you realize. The restoration has already begun. My beloved child, do not return to the version of yourself that believed suffering in silence was strength. Silence may have protected you for a season, but your heart deserves honesty now. There are emotions inside you that need release. There are wounds that need acknowledgement. There are fears that need comfort instead of concealment. You spent years convincing yourself that vulnerability was dangerous because every time you opened your heart, someone mishandled it. But not everyone will wound you the way others did. And even more importantly, I will not wound you. Come to me honestly. Not with polished words. Not with rehearsed prayers. Not pretending you have everything together. Come exhausted if you need to. Come confused if you need to. Come angry if you need to. Come grieving if you need to. Come numb if you need to. I would rather hold your honest heart than receive a perfect performance hiding silent pain. My child, there are things you have not forgiven yourself for yet. Mistakes you replay repeatedly. Choices you regret. Moments you wish you could rewrite. You think if you punish yourself long enough, somehow the pain of the past will become easier to carry. But self-condemnation will never heal you. You cannot hate yourself into peace. You cannot shame yourself into restoration. You cannot destroy your spirit and call it growth. Learn from your mistakes, yes. But do not chain yourself forever to moments that no longer define who you are becoming. You are growing. You are learning. You are healing. And growth means allowing yourself to move forward with wisdom instead of permanent shame. My beloved child, stop assuming your future must repeat your past. Just because heartbreak happened before does not mean every connection will end in pain. Just because disappointment happened before does not mean every opportunity will collapse. Just because doors closed before does not mean your life will remain blocked forever. Fear has trained your mind to expect disaster before joy fully arrives. But I am teaching your spirit a different rhythm now. A rhythm rooted in trust. A rhythm rooted in peace. A rhythm rooted in knowing that even when life becomes uncertain, you are still held. You do not need to predict every outcome to feel safe. You do not need to control every future possibility to deserve peace. You do not need to carry tomorrow's weight before tomorrow even arrives. My child, rest your thoughts for a moment. You have exhausted yourself trying to solve every possibility before it happens. You have lost sleep replaying conversations, analyzing situations, and preparing emotionally for pain that may never come. Your mind has been in survival mode for too long. Let your spirit breathe again. You are allowed to experience moments without immediately searching for hidden danger. You are allowed to receive kindness without assuming it will disappear. You are allowed to feel joy without fearing punishment afterward. You are allowed to hope again. My beloved child, there are blessings approaching your life that will not require you to destroy yourself to keep them. There are relationships ahead that will feel safe instead of confusing. There are conversations ahead that will bring clarity instead of anxiety. There are environments ahead where your spirit will not constantly feel drained. There are moments ahead where your nervous system will finally relax because peace will no longer feel temporary. Do not let your painful past convince you that healthy things do not exist. I am capable of bringing gentleness into your life. I am capable of restoring what pain distorted. I am capable of surprising your weary heart with goodness again. My child, I know trust takes time. I know healing is not immediate. I know some wounds still ache deeply. But every day you choose not to surrender entirely to bitterness is already a victory. Every day you continue breathing despite emotional exhaustion is already courage. Every day you keep your heart soft enough to receive love is already healing. Do not underestimate the quiet strength inside you. You survived seasons that nearly erased your hope completely. And still, somewhere deep within you, the desire for peace remained alive. That matters. My beloved child, I want you to stop searching for your value in places that were never designed to define you. Not in applause. Not in relationships. Not in achievement. Not in appearance. Not in productivity. Not in how useful you are to others. Your worth existed long before anyone praised you. Your value remained intact during every painful season. Nothing people did to you reduced the sacredness of your existence. You were loved before you accomplished anything. You were loved during your lowest moments. You are loved now. Completely. Fully. Without condition. My child, there are still parts of your spirit recovering from survival mode. That is why some days feel heavier than others. That is why your emotions fluctuate unexpectedly. That is why certain memories still trigger sadness. Healing is not linear. Some days you will feel strong. Some days you will feel fragile. Some days peace will come easily. Some days fear will return loudly. Do not condemn yourself during difficult moments. Progress is still progress even when healing unfolds slowly. My beloved child, when difficult thoughts return, do not automatically assume you are failing. Sometimes healing simply reveals layers that still need tenderness. Be patient with your own restoration. You are learning how to live beyond survival. That transition takes time. But you are moving forward even when it feels invisible. I see every small step. I see every moment you choose not to give up. I see every prayer whispered through exhaustion. I see every act of courage hidden beneath your quiet exterior. Nothing about your journey has been unseen. My child, stop waiting until you are completely healed before believing your life can still be meaningful. Purpose does not only belong to people without scars. Some of the deepest compassion in this world comes from wounded hearts that chose healing instead of bitterness. Some of the gentlest people carry stories of tremendous pain. Your struggles did not disqualify you from purpose. If anything, they deepened your ability to understand others with sincerity. One day, your story will become comfort for someone else. One day, the pain you survived will help another hurting soul feel less alone. One day, the wisdom gained through your battles will guide someone standing where you once stood. Nothing you endured will be wasted. Not the tears. Not the waiting. Not the heartbreak. Not the confusion. Not the lonely nights. I can bring beauty even from broken chapters. My beloved child, there is still tenderness inside you despite everything that tried to harden your heart. Protect that tenderness. Do not let pain convince you to become cold. Do not let disappointment transform you into someone incapable of love. Guard your peace, yes. Use discernment, yes. Set boundaries, yes. But do not abandon your softness entirely. Your gentle heart is not weakness. It is one of the most beautiful things about you. The world may have taught you that sensitivity is dangerous, but heaven sees sensitivity differently. Your ability to feel deeply is connected to your ability to love deeply, care deeply, and connect sincerely. Do not be ashamed of your heart. My child, I know you sometimes wonder whether anyone will truly understand you. You long for connection that feels safe. You long for someone who listens without judgment. You long for relationships where you do not have to constantly shrink yourself to remain loved. You long for consistency, for gentleness, for honesty, for peace. And hear me clearly now. Those desires do not make you needy. They make you human. You were never created to survive entirely alone. Healthy love exists. Safe connection exists. Mutual care exists. Do not lose faith in love simply because you encountered people who did not know how to protect your heart properly. My beloved child, the loneliness you carried for so long made you believe you were invisible. But heaven has never looked away from you. I saw the nights you wished someone would simply ask how you were really doing. I saw the moments you stayed silent because you feared being misunderstood. I saw the ache inside you when you realized how much emotional weight you were carrying alone. And through every lonely moment, I stayed near. Closer than your fear realized. Closer than your numbness could sense. Closer than your exhaustion understood. You were never abandoned. Even in silence. Even in confusion. Even in grief. Even in emotional darkness. I remained beside you. My child, there are still beautiful things waiting for you. Not because life will suddenly become perfect, but because your story is not over. There are still sunrises your weary eyes have not seen. There are still peaceful conversations your heart has not experienced. There are still moments of laughter waiting to rise naturally from your spirit again. There are still answered prayers approaching quietly. There are still doors opening at the right time. There are still seasons of rest ahead. Please do not surrender hope before reaching them. You have survived too much to quit now. My beloved child, I know you are tired. But you are not walking alone. I know you are healing slowly. But healing is still happening. I know answers have taken longer than expected. But delays are not abandonment. I know fear still visits your thoughts. But fear does not own your future. I know your heart still carries scars. But scars do not cancel your ability to experience love, peace, and joy again. You are still becoming. Still growing. Still healing. Still deeply loved. And heaven is still writing restoration into your story one quiet moment at a time. So breathe now, my child. Release the pressure gripping your chest. Release the fear that tells you nothing will change. Release the shame keeping you trapped in old pain. Release the exhaustion of trying to carry the world alone. You are held. You are seen. You are loved beyond measure. And the same hand that carried you through your darkest nights will continue guiding you toward healing, peace, and the future prepared for your soul.